What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, in today's video, we are going to be going over the market as it has been getting absolutely smashed. Altcoins are going down significantly. Bitcoin's down nearly 8% to 46,000. People are nervous, people are worried, and I am here to offer my opinion. So, of course, with that being said, let's go ahead and let's get into today's video. So, a lot of people are looking at today as the start of the end, okay? And I'm actually looking at it in a bit of a different light. Now, on the channel, if you did watch the video that I did recently, basically talking about are cryptos about to fall off of a cliff? I know that was a bit of a clickbaity video title, but don't mind me, okay? What we talked about in that video was the fact that after this huge fall to the downside, that typically speaking, when we see such a large leverage shakeout of this nature, we will see a bit of a trickle down effect in which the price will eventually resort back to whatever lows we set that initial low, okay? It has a tendency to do that. We can identify this through two different ways. We can go simply just look at the prices in which we see these huge wicks, these huge falls that eventually lead to these continued falls to the downside. And also, if we go look at another example, for example here, boom, this is a beautiful one in which we saw this big fall, bang, we saw some recovery, things were looking good before we eventually ran back up into our trend here, and it pushed the price right back down to the key level in which we set these lows. Now, we can also observe just the overall leverage in Bitcoin itself to, to kind of confirm this in a way. We can see that we've had, let's go ahead and say 1, 2, 3, 4 rather large leverage shakeouts in this point in which we saw the leverage traders get mass liquidated. And you can see what happens, right? Prices start to fall, boom. And then from that point that we see this leverage shakeout, although leverage itself starts to even possibly pick up, Bitcoin's prices have a tendency to continue to the downside, as we saw right here. Even if we go to this fall, we saw this massive liquidation event, but the prices continued to trickle down a little bit. And even on a larger, a bit of a smaller scale perspective back here, when we saw this bottom get put in, it wasn't this immediate growth, right? We started to see this continuation to the upside eventually, but it was this trickle down effect coming off of this one. So all of that basically to say that after these large liquidation events, this is not uncommon, okay? This is not something that I would say is unusual, and this is not something that I would say is the start of a bear market. Now, the reason I say that is because even if we just look at this entire year, we've seen similar events such as this one play out, in which we see the leverage shakeout, the trickle down effect, the setting of a possible new lower low, and then the continuation to the upside. And I'm personally under the belief that as long as we are maintaining above $39,717 on Bitcoin's charts itself, that the rest of the market is looking okay. Now, the reason I'm focused so specifically on Bitcoin right now is due to the fact that the entire market is following it. And not only is it following it, it's following it more and more as the days are going by over the last couple of days. Now, the reason that I say this is because if we look at Bitcoin dominance, as the market has been seeing some relatively decent, growth over the last few months, Bitcoin dominance itself has been falling. Now, what that meant is that since, realistically since October, we have been seeing altcoins consistently outperforming Bitcoin. We were seeing 10, 15, 20% growth in alts on days that Bitcoin was maybe only up 4 or 5%. Or when Bitcoin would fall 8%, some of our alts would only fall 2 or 3%. And so what that meant is that people were, taking those risks. As we were clearly seeing leverage entering the market at substantial rates, we were also seeing people taking the risk with their altcoins. But what we can see is that as the crypto fear and greed index has continuously been working towards these extreme fear levels last week and probably just around this level today, if I had to guess, that people are starting to take the more quote unquote safe bet by going back into Bitcoin, and they're taking less and less risks. And what I've noticed is that when the whales and when the people who control these markets can finally get people to stop taking those big risks, they can finally get the leverage out the market, they can finally get people back into Bitcoin, that's whenever we start to see these drops stop happening, okay? While people are feeling risky, all the bad stuff tends to happen, okay? And so my overall opinion on what we're seeing from the market right now is that we're seeing a very natural and healthy retracement, okay? As we are coming back down, the levels we need to be keeping the closest amount of, attention on right now is simply this previous low. That's as simple as it can get. At the moment, while we are continuing to the top side, based off of the Elliott's wave theory, as long as we go ahead and we put our 4 wave, this bottom wave, our number 4, in above our 2 wave, we are still in a considered to be in an uptrend, and there is a likelihood that we could see an equidistant wave 5 of wave 1. And so what that means specifically is that if we are capable of putting in, a low here, and we can start to see a reversal at some given point, we can take the distance from wave 1 and apply it to wave 5, and that gets us right back up towards a new all-time high, with just being the minimum. Typically your wave 5 will see the same distance as your wave 1. And so all of that to basically say is that as long as we're above 39,000, even if prices do continue down, even if it does get ugly, even if if our alts do continue to tank, we're still looking good for continuation back to the top side in order for us to see this bull run continue. So while people are going to be screaming this is the bear market, while people are going to be freaking out and saying this is the end of the world, I just wanted to offer you a piece of advice and saying just let this thing play out as it's going to. We talked about this on the channel last week. I said don't expect this to be the end, right? Don't expect some just V-shaped recovery out of nowhere right here. Do expect that the market may trickle back down, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. But that does not mean that this is a bad thing. It does not mean that this is unusual. It does not mean that this is uncommon. And so with that, you just need to pay close attention. If Bitcoin sets this new lower high, we work our way back up, or we go back up, we keep setting lower highs, and then boom, we break through this low and we come down to set a lower low. Yeah, we need to start considering that this might be the end of the run. It very possibly could be. But if we start to see a reversal here and we go back up to set a new structural high off one of these, yeah, we just put in the wave 4 and we're going in to put in a wave 5 likely at a new all-time high. It's that simple, okay? So don't listen to the noise as much as you possibly can. Don't check your portfolio every single second of the day. Go find something else to do. Let this thing play out, because at the end of the day, we really don't have much control over what happens, but we have control over what we do, and freaking out in moments like this is not the way to go. So overall, that's just my opinion on what we're seeing right now. I do believe it to be healthy, and I do believe it to be temporary. And again, as long as we're above $39,717, I'm really not too concerned. I will be dollar cost averaging my way in very soon if we do start to see new structural highs get put in. But until that point does happen, I am just going to continue to hold and allow this thing to play out. So if you guys do like these updates where when the market freaks out, I give you guys an update of what I'm expecting, please do let me know down in the comment section below. I can do more videos like this if you would like, but if not, it's totally cool. Of course, we can focus on major altcoins. But with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.